Ohio gozaimasu, and welcome to the pod. Today, in this video, we are going to talk about the PV Otto diagram. Beside me, I have the diagram of our cylinder of our engine, and we have two diagrams here of the PV Otto diagram, where one is the ideal adiabatic, and the other one is the realistic one. So why is it called the PV Otto diagram? Well, it was named after an engineer called Otto, who did work on engines, and he did work particularly on the four-stroke engine during the years 1867 to 1876, where he actually reduced the weight of the engine and increased its thermal efficiency, thus increasing its performance. If you go now to the diagrams, you'll notice that it goes through 1 to 2, to 3, to 4, to 5, and it goes through the 4 different strokes of the cycle: intake, compression, power, and exhaust. On the diagram here, we have on the y-axis P for pressure, and on the x-axis we have V for volume. Also note that we have TDC, which means top dead center, and BDC, which means bottom dead center. This indicates where the piston is going from the top of the cylinder to the bottom of the cylinder and back up to the top. So as we move from 1 to 2, this is our intake stroke, and thus it is when the intake valve is open and is drawing air into the cylinder, whilst the piston is moving from the top to the bottom, as indicated here. On the ideal adiabatic diagram, we have a straight line, whereas on the realistic one, we have a slight dip, and which indicates that we have some energy losses. I shall let you know what adiabatic actually means. An adiabatic means that when a gas is compressed or it expands in an adiabatic state, the gas neither loses nor gains any heat. Now, this is an ideal state. However, it differs in reality when it comes to the engine, because the gases actually does gain and lose heat. And that's why the diagrams are different. So let's talk about each stroke as we go through the diagram. So on 1 to 2 is our intake stroke, 2 to 3 is our compression stroke, and we're moving along the diagram, either from 2 to 3 here, or 2 to 3 here. At 3 is when we have our spark ignition for igniting the fuel. And from 3 to 4, 4 is when the pressure reaches a peak. 4 to 5 is where we have our power stroke, where we're harnessing the energy from within the chemicals, from within the chemical reaction. And from 5 to 1, we're doing the exhaust stroke, so we're getting rid of the exhaust gases out of the cylinder. What happens on the diagram here, 1 to 2, we're increasing the volume within the cylinder. From 2 to 3, both valves are closed, and the piston is moving from the bottom, dead center, back up to the top, and pressure is increasing. But the volume is also decreasing at that point as well, because it's moving back up to the top. At point 3, we have a spark. Point 4 is where the pressure reaches maximum. Point 5 is where we open the exhaust valve after the power stroke, and the pressure decreases, but the volume has increased to its maximum, hence why we're over on this side of the diagram. And moving back through to 1, we actually are decreasing the volume and decreasing the pressure. And this cycle again goes on and on until the engine is switched off. Interesting point here is where the spark actually happens. Now at this point at 3, the spark can be either delayed or made late, or it can be advanced, and there are different disadvantages and benefits. So if we have the spark either late or advanced, we get different curvature on our PV diagram. Now if we have a late spark, that can lead to problems with the engine. It can lead to low power. It can lead to bad fuel mileage and also to backfiring. However, if we advance the spark, we can get a little bit more performance out of the engine, and thus have a bit more, it will increase the pressure within the engine to a certain point. That's beneficial, but there's a certain window or a certain point at which we cannot advance the spark any further, because it would lead to pre-ignition, also known as knock or detonation, which we've indicated on this side of the diagram here, where if we advance the spark too much, we would get pre-ignition, and this is where the fuel, the pressure within the cylinder is high enough for the fuel to self-ignite. And this wouldn't be good for a spark ignition, because we want the flame to propagate evenly throughout the cylinder, throughout that space, and not to detonate, because that leads to damage within the cylinder and within the engine itself. Another benefit of the PV diagram is that from the diagrams, not these ones in particular, but from the diagrams, it is possible to also see the area of the work that's being made, that's being produced from the engine. You'll be able to see the area of losses that's produced from the engine, and also you're able to see the mean effective pressure that's within the engine. So that concludes today, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Hello, and welcome to the pod. In today's video, we will be talking to you about the compression ratio. The compression ratio is a ratio that compares the volume within the cylinder when the piston is at bottom dead center with the volume in the cylinder when the piston is at top dead center.